Could be the
Right.
race. Ding, ding, ding,
Do a
ding.
move. Sing a song.
Just don't
The
ask.
speaker
me.
didn't work
Alright.
again.
Just don't
The
ask. me.
time is now 6:37. We're going to start this select board meeting as per usual with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And it moves us on to our roll call. Dave Hemingway, Chair of the Select Board.
Marlo Herrick?
And unfortunately, Dee is not with us today. We wish her well and hope that she is feeling better next time and soon. For announcements, do we have any specific announcements?
I have a few announcements.
Please take it away.
See if I can turn this on. The first announcement I have is about Clothespin Bridge. I spoke with Greg Goodrich at VHB, and they are starting to do the work regarding securing the easements and/or purchase of property for that. They're hiring an appraiser to do the appraisal. He was then kind of going over with me the schedule for the bridge. And he estimates, and it always sounds like a long ways off to me, that they'll be able to release a bid for the contractor in June of '23. The bids will be open 3 to 4 weeks before due, and then they'd be open, reviewed, and a contractor selected. And the actual work will most likely not be done until June to August of '24. Part of the issue is the difficulty and slowness of procuring steel for the bridge. So I wish it were faster. That was that. White Plains Road, if you remember, there was a letter that went to the engineer from DES regarding on the application. He has been in contact with them and has, he thinks we're in very good shape. He actually was anticipating more items on the list and was pleased with the response. He's addressed the consultation with Fish and Game, waiting for their review. The other 3 items are fairly routine, and he should have those wrapped up by the end within the next couple of weeks. And this email's a couple weeks old, so it's due back at DES by October 1st. I asked him if there was anything we needed to do, and it said at this point he did not need anything from the town, but to keep us posted.
Oh, that's nice, we're not used to that.
And we're not.
Project updates.
Oh, why would we do that?
Roy Fanjoy and Paula Fanjoy plan to go to Florida in November and be
Oh,
there
there you
for
go.
the winter. And so we will need to think about what to do about a health officer and
Okay.
deputy health officer. So just put that so you have it in the back of your mind.
How do we go about that?
I think you would need to appoint somebody you would appoint, actually it's the state that appoints the health officer, but you need to suggest someone from town who could do that.
Did they need to resign first, or?
I've got to call into the state because I'm not quite sure of the answer to that. Roy said they would resign. I hate to have them resign because they have done a very good job. But we'll see what situation we get ourselves in.
Is there any provision for being able to temporarily borrow one from another neighboring town?
Perhaps, yeah.
Okay.
Good idea.
Yeah.
Well, I was gonna say, yeah, who's our bucket list? And do they have a suggestion?
He did not,
Okay, oh,
Yeah.
okay.
but I'll keep talking with him. The other thing is I did reach out to Senator Shaheen's office regarding the zip code. And they gave me what we would need to do to get it. And basically, it would require a petition from the community as well as other factors. So I just got this the other day, so I'll be working on that.
Remind me.
We had talked about having the town of Webster have its own zip code,
Oh, okay, okay, okay.
so.
You only need what, 25 signatures for a petition?
That would be for a petition warrant article.
Well,
for
I
town.
need to know, what do you need for petition?
It does not say here.
Doesn't say?
It doesn't have an amount. And in fact, I was gonna, lean on Tara to help me with this when we got,
I was just gonna say,
when we got going.
the mail carrier here, she just ordered 5 packages to her address in Webster, and it came through with the Concord and the zip code on it. And the
For Lake Road.
The city carrier got it and wrote no such number on Lake Street in Concord, and they were sending all 5 of her packages back. That's because their computers, don't take
Yeah.
the zip
Yeah, I've
code.
had some go back because they're
Yeah.
labeled Concord automatically too.
Yep,
So it's quite lengthy of what we need to do.
Cool.
No, I remember now that we're talking about that.
Yeah,
Can you forward that to the board?
I can.
Just for knowledge sake?
yes.
and I'll see if I can talk to our acting postmaster right now about it. He's pretty good at getting things done.
Great.
Well, awesome.
Because
Yeah.
I guess what I was trying to say is I have no problem helping you get a petition going and get the signatures for you.
Okay.
I think it'd be a great idea to put a petition in Michelle's office. How
Yeah.
many people come in there every day?
Every day.
I mean, I get
They
you
can sign it
25
right then and
signatures
there.
tomorrow.
Well, there's a process, so I wanna make sure I go by the process.
Okay, great, let us know.
Well,
I
we can
received-
add to it, or whatever you want.
Yeah. I received an email today, and I know Dave, you got this as well, regarding, it came, Sunday afternoon. I wasn't here, by the way. And what it was is they were asking for the board to do a resolution for Childhood Cancer Awareness Week, which is September 25 to October 1. I was going to ask the board if they wanted to sponsor a resolution, and if you did, I have written one that you could use.
So, this is just me speaking, not the board. My feeling is that I appreciate and completely support the cause, but we get various things requesting that we make a day or a week or a month, a lot of times out of the year. And I don't really want to clutter the whole schedule unless we have something that says this is how or what, or we're going to look at whether this is a good thing to add or not. Most people here typically don't like extra things from government, and so I would prefer just making an announcement that it is that week
Yeah.
for many people, but not like adding an extra proclamation-y sort of thing. I don't know what your feeling is on
Well,
it.
being kind of new to all that stuff, I agree. I mean, granted, if there was somebody within town that thought that it was really, important amongst our community. Not saying that, just like he's saying, we're not saying that this is not important and not needed and stuff, but I understand where he's coming from, and I would, yeah, like I said, if there was a community thing that, they're looking for our support,
Right.
that might be a little different. But you're right, if we supported everything that came through, even though you'd like to do it, it would clutter too much.
And I guess I'll add two things. One is, this is not from anybody in town suggesting that we support it.
Right.
It's just from the organization spraying every single town. And second, the majority that we get like this are very political. This is not, but many are. So that would be my comments on it.
Yeah, no, I feel the same way, and like I said, if somebody came forward and said,
Okay, fair enough.
So yes, as part of the announcements, then it is which weeks was it that is this?
It
Awareness
is
month?
September 25th through October 1st. And finally, I have been wanting to schedule a work session so you can go over the personnel policy. We had talked a little bit about that last time, and I've kind of held back because I've been waiting for Dee to weigh in on it. But I'd like to go ahead and schedule that.
yes,
I believe afternoons are the best.
yeah, for, right, afternoon's best for you, yep. And I can be a little flexible either way, but yeah, that's fine.
Could we do an afternoon next week?
Yeah, I think next week would be reasonable. It's too bad we can't do it during voting, since there's often lots of
Free
open
time,
time, but maybe Wednesday, which is the day after.
So that would be the 14th.
Yes. The 15th, we've got, or at least I've got the CPCNH, which is the Community Power Coalition board meeting, and then I have birthdays, so
Well,
Wednesday would be the best for me. Does that work for
sounds
you?
reasonable.
I mean, yeah. When you got your mother in and out of the hospital, who knows what day's good?
Mhm.
But that's okay, we'll work through that. The
What
14th.
Which
Let's
time
just,
is best?
let's just do on my way home type of thing, either on the way into work or on the way home is always better, so wanna say 3:30?
Sure, 3:30 sounds good.
Okay, on the 14th, right?
Yep.
Okay,
Okay, thank you.
okay, now, right, put it where I can be reminded.
And that was all I had, Dave.
Okay. Let me get that scheduled in here now.
As in healthcare, they look at you and they want you to be there all the time. I go, if I didn't work for myself, I'd been fired. Oh my gosh. You said Wednesday, right?
Yes, Wednesday the 14th, 3:30. Okay, and you'll let Dee know
I
as
will
well?
do that.
Perfect. All right.
Oh, so it's scheduled, all right, cool.
Do you have any announcements? All right.
No.
I think we're pretty good on the announcement department then, which, does anybody have announcements? Okay, so that moves us on to department head reports. Come on down, Emily.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Why don't you go first so you can look through that?
How's it going? Good. So, for the last month, as of September 6th, we have $111,022.97 left in our budget, our 22 budget. That's 37.74%, so we're in very good shape. All kinds of money left over. Hopefully I'll have it at the end of the year. August 1st to the 31st was a quiet month. This has been the quietest month, I think, so far this year. 39 motor vehicle stops, 1 summons, and not 1 arrest, the first time this year, which is unheard of.
I cleaned my act up.
Okay, so, God, don't we wanna make a
We'll
joke to
watch
that, right? Yeah, right, that's what I was thinking. I
They
do.
handled 46 other calls other than those. And it's a typical civil complaints, domestic violence petitions, found property, juvenile complaints, petitions served, motor vehicle complaints, accidents, suspicious activities, welfare checks, sex offender registries, which is a non-ending mess, vacant house checks, citizen welfare checks, suspicious person checks, assist of the fire and EMS,
Thank you.
animal complaints, and it's just other agencies, plus police information requests and nondescript complaints, which is more, can you tell me about this? And they just ask questions, and disturbance calls. New cruiser is finally, after all this time waiting, up at Austin Mountain, and we should have it back, I'm hoping by Wednesday, Thursday. They got all the parts in, and when I called yesterday, it was completely torn apart on a holiday. They had 2 guys working because they were 37 or 38 cruises behind that should have been done by now, but they just didn't have the materials. So hopefully it'll be done Wednesday or Thursday. And that's a quiet month for us, first time.
Awesome. Well, thank you.
Yours. I hope yours is as good. Nice and quiet.
It is.
Good.
It is. So, the new police officer that Steve hired, Richie, I've worked with him some. He texted me this afternoon and picked the tree up and got out of the road, for us. Very nice young man. So, thank you for that, Steve.
You're welcome. He's a great addition.
Yeah,
Great addition.
yeah, no, good, seems like a real nice guy. So, and he gets along with me for some reason. So,
Well, we all have bad traits.
we'll go to the highway. We have been working down on Clothespin Bridge Road in Corn Hill. We did get the trees cut. We got it all stumped and seeded. And then at the bottom of the project on Centennial, where that goes out, there was a failed culvert there, so while the excavator was there, we replaced that and cleaned up that intersection. There was a collapsed pipe underneath there that they didn't take out the last time, they just set beside of it and put one in, so that's why that road was sinking. So we found that, dug that out, so, that was all good. So that project's coming along good. Warren from GMI, the owner's coming out tomorrow to look at the project, to schedule that, to get that. I'm gonna overlay that from Dingett's Corner, to the Bosquen town line. It's gonna, have 1 inch of shim and then a 1 inch top. So, that will be, good shape for quite a few years down through there. Most people, everybody that I've seen has really liked the intersection and can't believe how good it is to see. A lot of the people from the community there, so that was good. So that's where we have been working. We are gonna be, starting roadside mowing here in the next couple to 3 weeks. And everybody's political signs is gonna, they're gonna have to move them or do something because it costs a lot of money to mow and on and off the tractor all the time, moving them signs and stuff, it just is, it's not gonna happen. So if somebody wants to put,
So the announcement, please move your political signs further into your property so they don't get mowed.
Or they'll be in little pieces.
right, and I don't wanna do that, but it's, I mean, destroy anything, but it's just, it won't probably be for 3 weeks before we start mowing, but if the tractors come, when they come, we gotta use them, so, that's, that, I'll be ordering the salt here this week, so that will come. I don't know what the price is gonna be. I know what it was last year, but I have no clue what per ton is this year, so, that's gonna take place this week. In cutting edges, I know they have gone skyrocketed from the steel, but, I'm gonna get a quote on everything that I need this week, so I'll be bringing
you guys an appeal for that.
Perfect.
In Clothespin Bridge,
I was gonna ask, what are you thinking we can do with that?
should be, I mean, it's not gonna make it any stronger,
Okay.
well, a little bit, but probably should be overlaid,
Well, that's what I was.
because
gonna
you're not
ask.
gonna be able to plow it with them steel
Right.
plates on there. And I'm surprised somebody hasn't lugged them off to sold them for junk. But, so if we're looking at 2 more years, we need to give that some thought here in the next month,
I was
because,
gonna say, since
Yeah, no.
you
Well,
were
and
dealing with
hope-
GMI already,
Right.
it
That's what I was thinking.
may be purchasing plates before we overlay, so that hopefully it lasts that long.
yeah. So that was something that I figured I'd bring up tonight instead of next month, because it should be done by next
Well,
month,
and-
because winter's coming.
And maybe it could be happening when you do
Yeah,
down the road,
right,
of course,
yeah.
I mean, I know I'm not saying
Yeah.
anything, I know I'm stating the obvious, but,
No,
yeah. yeah.
right,
And so the plates that are there, are those rented, or did you purchase those?
No, we own them.
Okay, and how many more do you think you would need, or do you not sure?
Oh, I'd have to get,
Okay.
get over.
And
I
the
mean, if
plates
you're
that
gonna
we
pay.
have are small patch plates,
No,
they're not
Right,
road-sized plates.
well, right, I guess that's what I was trying.
Right, there's
I
a 10
guess
by
that's-
5, a 10 by 4.
Yes,
But I mean, that was $1,300 a year. Was that, when did I get that, this spring or last fall? This spring,
This spring.
yeah. So
That was
all,
right before voting day.
sure.
yes, it was, I think the
Um,
day before.
Bruce Davis from Allstate Asphalt, came out and we did a tour of the tarred roads that are that are ready to be chip sealed. We didn't do any chip sealing this year because of the scheduling. Last year, you have to schedule a year out. To get something happen next year, you gotta put your order in now. So, he sent me all the quotes, and, they like the minimum, they will come out less than 3 miles to chip seal, but the price goes up. But you're talking $38,000 a mile. So 3 miles, you're looking at $75,000 to $80,000. That's like, because that's what they can do in one day. So, I'm working on that to get that scheduled for next year. So I've been working on that.
And in previous years, how much do we tend to chip seal each year?
Well, the last couple of years we haven't because of the COVID and different things, but you have to have pavement.
Well, right, but before that, like how much were we averaging per year roughly? Like, was it a couple miles? Of 5
No,
miles?
a mile.
Okay.
Well, the only thing that's chip sealed right now is, we chip sealed Little Hill, and we chip sealed the Dustin Road, because we overlaid that back a few years ago, and then we chip sealed that. Before that, it was always sand seal. That's like $18,000 to $22,000 a mile, but the chip seal, it's a better product, and it lasts, it's supposed to last between 8 and 10 years, other than the sand seal up to 3 years. So that's why we did a kind of a study on what could be done. But if your tire is too far gone, then you're better off to shim and get the base back down, and then chip seal. Because if you don't have a good road, you're just wasting money
Right.
if it doesn't have if it won't lay in, or it's too cracked out. So, it's a process, but it's not rocket scientist, but. So I'm working with that, with Bruce to, figure all that out, what needs to be done and whatever, so.
Sweet.
Yeah, so this week, next week, this week, tomorrow, we're gonna be down, tiring in where we cut out the culverts on Clothespin Bridge Road in Corn Hill. We're gonna patch them in, the tire part, so when they come to overlay, they'll just overlay, they won't be doing a bunch of handwork. And we have a cutout on the White Plains Road where we did a culvert. And then there's one on Lake Road, Winnapocket Road, White Plains Road. We have one to tire in, I'm getting ahead of myself. And then Lake Road, I changed the pipe over there last fall, Russell and Emery and I, and that didn't get tied back in, so we're gonna do that this fall. And then where we did the new road on Concord Drive, where the water comes down Pennycook Circle, makes the left and goes down onto Deer Meadow. I didn't get that tar swaled in there last fall, so we're gonna do that in the next couple of weeks, because it's making a mess there. So that's projects that's gonna be happening.
And speaking of water and drainage and stuff like that, with our driveway here.
Yeah,
coming down the
we need
hill.
some dirt.
Well, yeah, coming down the hill, it seems to try to erode and then run off into the driveway. Can you look at that and see what we might be able to do to prevent that from happening, so our dirt stays with our dirt?
Dana and I have already looked at that, and I'm gonna get a quote from Mitchie's to get some blocks, precast blocks, that don't hurt your eyes when you're looking at them.
Well, like the, not an actual block.
Right,
the-
but something that's,
But the wall that's kind of,
yeah,
I've just lost the word.
Some
I
sort of
just-
retaining wall.
Well, it is, it's called, not every, I can't think of.
yeah.
I just had it and left me, but anyways, yeah.
So-
The ones that look, kinda can look a little bit stony or whatever.
Yeah, yeah,
Not
other than
like
just
just a
a,
block.
yeah, other than just a block of cement laying there, so, Dana.
And that's, we're talking right down here,
Yeah.
right, where you can see
Yeah.
the, yeah.
Yeah, Dana and I looked at that a while ago, and I told him I was gonna do that, so, it's
Awesome.
work in progress.
So I have a question. With coming up with our next year budget, roads and stuff, and when we come up with that, like, we come up with what we think you can muster to keep all the town roads good, which is awesome. When we do that, does it also kind of give a rundown of what projects you hope to accomplish with that budget?
Well,
Besides the, emergencies and all that
This-
lovely stuff that changes it and throws it out the window.
the block grant and, the roads and highways, just for everyday maintenance, it's not for it's for
Okay,
grading
okay,
roads.
yep.
Cutting brush, coal patching, supplies in parts, signs, calcium chloride, and then the, block grants for the salt, the winter sand, and stuff like that. The projects, come underneath the road preservation or the
Okay.
road construction.
Yeah,
And we usually we have been working on Deer Meadow.
right, yep,
Concord Drive. The year before that, they didn't let me do a project because of COVID or whatever, so we did do that little project in front of, Lynn S. Steps, where the water was getting into the basement and rotting and everything. And then the year after that, we did Concord Drive, which really needed it, but it wasn't on the plan because of the water. And then this year, we did 1,611 feet on Deer Meadow Road from Concord Drive to Cedar Mill Group. And that needs another section from Cedar Mill Group up around the corner, but it's not as bad as Pleasant Street. And Pleasant Street's been on the
list,
list. and on the CIP list and stuff, so, um,
And I would argue that Pleasant Street is gonna be extremely important, because that will be a large part of detours for the bridge when Clothespin Bridge gets closed.
it is, but if you start at, we do 1,500 feet a year, I mean, you give me $125,000, and that's, you don't get very far with that. So, what is it, it's gotta be,
Yeah, it's been going crazy.
it's gonna take 6 years, the way we do it, to go from Pleasant Street down to Ronnie Frost to that other piece, so, I mean, that's gotta be built up down through
So
there.
when we start talking about all the budgets, if you can kinda come with what you think you are capable of doing as far as time concerns, and then what you think a budget is capable of handling versus also if you were doing all of that time that you can put in, what that budget would look like, then that'll help out a lot at that budget time. Because we can definitely work through that and try to get stuff done.
Pleasant Street to Ronnie Frost, you're looking at $1 million.
Well, I don't mean like everything, but
If you're gonna
based
do
on
it,
time and
have
what we
somebody
can do
come
for
right
budgets.
in and, yeah.
We are planning, the CIP's planning to meet fairly soon, I forget the date now.
I think he said October, something.
Something October, and we usually sit down with them and talk with him, and he comes in and talks to CIP, and that is what drives what goes into the trust funds.
Correct,
Um,
and then that's why I've been working with Bruce Davis, cause a lot of that is.
Yeah, so that's how we've done it, so, if you'll have a list of projects, I know, and that will go into the CIP. And again, a CIP plan is only good as long as it's financed. And what the committee decides to bring to you to encourage you to accept.
Right, and like working on Corn Hill Road, 2 or 3 different people asked why we were doing so much this year, and asked if we'd got money from the government or something to do projects, and I said, no, it was because that one year we didn't do any projects, the townsfolk still funded the money, and one thing that was set up right was the way they set them accounts up, so if the money wasn't spent, you'd have it for the next year.
Right.
That was one of the best things that
I think it's been a
happened.
very effective way that the town's done that, and I think it's really
So-
saved the town from borrowing money. I would say, and you and I have talked about this, about we need to look at road construction versus preservation, and see, we had switched it last year, I think.
Yeah, 2 years ago, we changed, we
Yeah.
took, yeah, we
So we need
made
to
the
look
road
at that.
preservation more than the road construction, but
Yeah.
sometimes it's better, it's cheaper to save a road that instead of letting it go 2 or 3 more years, like Corn Hill Road, if we let that go another 2 or 3 years, then that would be a total, I mean, you would have to,
Yeah.
it would cost a lot more than what it's gonna cost to do that right now.
So I think I was just pointing out so the board remembered, about the capital improvement plan.
Yep.
So that's why we are doing a little bit more this year, because the money was in the bank.
Yeah.
And it's like Chief Adams and I talked about it.
And I
It's
think we'll
nice.
have a bit more still for next year, so I think we'll be good
Oh,
to.
yeah, because
It'll be a good year to keep doing a little
right,
bit more
because we
than
haven't
normal.
even, that's why I'm working with Bruce, because I'll have, Bruce Davis, because I'll have the money to do that chip sealing, that 75 grand, because we still have to fund 200,000 in that road preservation that hasn't been put in there from last year's vote.
That's right.
So I'm working on.
Well, this year's, but yes.
Well,
Yeah.
correct, you are right. But, so, yeah, so we're getting some stuff done with it.
And if we get to a point before the tax bills go out that we need that, I think we could do it,
Yeah,
cash flow wise.
So,
I've been a little reluctant because of this.
and it's nice to have the money in the bank, but the money in the bank isn't taking care of the shocks and the struts on people's cars.
Yep.
So that's where I'm at with the road stuff. Any questions?
Oh, thank you.
I think that's about it. The comment for you when we go back towards the budget time and we're talking about it, one of the things that Dana and I have been talking about is right now, highway and then block grant are separated in our budget.
It's gotta be.
And they actually don't need to be, and there's no reason for them to be. Because everything counts as highway block grant as long as we're using at least that much that we got from the state or more, and we're always going to. So the plan to start with, to make it easy for everyone to follow, is to just kind of move those line items into highway, so it's one thing, and it'll still be labeled like block grant for the first year, and then probably the year afterwards, assuming I'm here, and that people wanna keep going forward with it, then it'll just drop the block grant label, because it'll all be in one place. So it's not really changing that's not designed to change the budget per se, but to make it all in one place, so it's easier to follow and not worry about specific, like, well, we went up $4 or went down $6 in the block grant, so we have to micromanage it. It'll just be part of this is all highway, and the block grant is what it's designed to be, which is just revenue. So-
Okay. No, I was always under the assumption that the block grant had to be spent, and then it was always separate, so it showed that it was
I was
spent.
too, I was super worried about it several
So,
years.
yeah, me too, so I learned something new tonight, thank you.
So, thanks to Dana's wonderful explanations about a lot of it, so.
Yeah, that's why we'll keep you.
For this week, anyway.
Yeah, right.
So,
But we'll
so
always
hopefully that
spend
can make
block.
it easier
Oh,
for
yeah,
everybody
no,
going
yeah.
forward to
Yeah.
understand
Yeah.
and follow.
Okay, yeah, so, the block grant budget, it's looking like there's still $58,524.02 in that remaining. And the highway and streets, it's looking like, there's $83,586.28 left in that budget, until the end of the year. And I know come the 1st of November, we like to have $30,000 left in that, so, have some money to plow snow with, because you don't have that crystal ball for them last 2 months. Honey, I'm home. No. So that's what I have.
Do you need chief Adams or anything else?
I gotta go to the station. If you need me, just call me, I'll come back. Enough phone calls.
Thank you, chief.
Thanks.
Are we good with the highway?
I think so.
Right, yeah.
So the firehouse, the fire trucks all passed inspection, they all went over
Yeah.
last month. Some of the guys on engine 3, were complaining, not complaining, but suggested about the headlights, you weren't working, well, couldn't see real well, so I changed them over, the low beam to, LED. They suggested at the shop to leave the high beams, the old original headlights, because unless you buy the heated LED lights, they'll get snow on them and then you can't see. So, we're gonna try that. They weren't expensive, they were half of what I thought they were gonna be, or what I was quoted a year ago. So we did that to that truck, and then put a set of LED lights, work lights on the back of engine 2, because it's cheaper now to do that than to keep changing the bulbs when they blow in the old style bulbs. So, the trucks are all inspected. This month, the Perkins Pump will be coming out to test pump and service the pumps on the engines, which we do that yearly. IPS will be coming out to service the Cascade system that fills the bottles for the breathing apparatus. That air has to be tested and sent out to, that the compressor's making, to make sure that it's all good.
Is that each year or is that 6 months?
Well, it should be probably every 3 months, but we do it yearly. If we were building fires and everything daily or weekly or something, and it was whatever's, then, but we do it once a year.
Okay.
They service the compressor and change the oil and the filters and,
So a lot of it is runtime on the system too?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. We talked about it last fall, about having some of our hose being tested. You hire a company to come in to do that. So you can do it in-house, but it's time consuming and it's labor intense and it's whatever. So, I'm gonna get a price on a company. They come in and strip the truck, test the hose, and then they pack it back on, and it's done. So, that's what a lot of the communities have been doing. So, I'm gonna get a price on that. So,
Also liability is on them, right?
what's that?
The liability is on them, isn't it?
Right. Yeah, because it's been a long, it needs to be tested. It's been a long time. So Old Home Day, we sent a truck to Salisbury, we sent one to Bosquen for the Old Home Day, and, we had our Old Home Day was it the 20th, I guess?
And they came here?
Yeah, no, things went well, everybody had a good day. So, other than medical calls at the firehouse and Wednesday night trainings, it's, going as it should.
I know you still have the capped dry hydrant down at the start, clothespin after the bridge. Is there any expectation as to when that will be taken care of, or are you waiting on?
I would've liked to done it when the water was low, but Roy said to stay out of the water
Mhm.
there the last couple of weeks, and of
Yeah,
course
because we've got the, see if I can remember, it.
Bacteria.
Yeah, whatever.
Cyanobacteria,
Yeah,
thank you.
so,
Blooms, so.
yeah, that will, unless the water comes up wicked high between now and,
So basically, when that clears, you'll be wanting to try
Yeah.
to get, okay,
yeah.
that makes sense.
Jeffy Dearborn, Old Yankee Tree, is coming in the first week of October to take down them huge pines on Pleasant Street from Dingett's Corner up around the corner with a crane. Because they still want to, if we have time between now and first snow, get in there with that big
Pounder.
rock pounder and, do some work up through there. So, that's on the books to have that done. Get the big old pines out of there. I know I jumped from back to the, but I'm sorry.
That's not
All
bad.
right, no, for sure.
We started with like working on it and then test pits, and then there was other stuff for, I think it's Dustin Road, where we were pulling our own sand from.
Yeah,
What's kind of the status of that at this point? Like, are we still pulling sand out of it? Are we waiting for top section to be removed to be able to pull more? Like, where and how is that?
well, everybody got busy, and it's something that needs to get done, but it's not a priority at the moment. I am gonna, probably yard another 1,000 yards out of there before first snow to get back over here to finish filling up the sand shed. But I can do that without removing
Okay.
the trees. And I'm getting quotes from 3 different people that live in town to get that cleared.
Mhm.
So it is back in the workings. It did get put on the back burner for a bit, but, we're getting fired back up on it.
Awesome. And very good to hear that we can still get the rest of the sand we need,
Yeah,
so,
so.
perfect.
Yeah. Firehouse, the church has asked me that, we left them a few years back, I don't think we did it last year, but the year before, we helped them and let them use our barbecue pit behind the safety building.
Mhm.
And they did the drive-through like we do. And Karen King from the church, they would like to do another one, either the first or second week of October. She hasn't given me the date yet. I told her I would work with her on that, but by rights, I need you folks' blessing, because it was the select board back a few years ago. I couldn't make any decisions at the firehouse without asking you folks first.
As long as you feel comfortable with whatever is needed to be at the firehouse in the process of them doing that for personnel or safety, I have no problems with it.
Nor do I.
Okay, no, I just wanted to follow
Yeah,
through with what I
perfect.
was
Awesome.
told to do, and, I'll run it. I hadn't talked to Steve, they've been rather busy, so, with things, so,
Mhm. All right. Anything further for fire or highway?
no, I'm good,
All
I'm good,
right.
thank you,
Thank you.
Thank you
for
very much.
everything.
All right, that
Can
means,
I ask a quick question?
yes.
For the mowing, if people don't move their signs, do the people who mow them down? Or do they just like work around that area?
Well, if you hired a landscaper to come to your house to mow your lawn, you wouldn't want any boogers in the middle of it, right?
No, my landscapers are real cool, I don't leave anything out there for them.
Right, so, no, when you go, yeah,
So, okay, so the mowers,
Right.
like the Burma Shave signs on Tyler Road, those are gonna be gone if they're not moved, right?
yeah, or if they get taken down so they don't get mowed over, I don't know, I'm not gonna sit there and pay somebody to put them all back up into place unless the select board wants me to hire somebody with a 1-ton to go along in front of the mowers and take all the stuff down and then put it back when they come back up through, but,
Talk about labor intensive.
well, I don't, and I don't have the money in my budget to do that.
And I don't think any of us would expect you to do that. I was just curious about what they would do, because I know the guys that do my lawn, if I forget and don't do something, it's gone.
But,
Like all my big my milk jugs that I use to weigh down my tarps for the firewood, those have gotten
so,
clipped.
no, I know it's whatevers, but it's,
Yeah.
No, that's cool. I just wondered if they would go around them or run them over, or, and that hurts the equipment, then there's damages that homeowner would be responsible for.
yeah, that wire gets wrapped around the bearings and the bearing goes to heck and it's whatevers, but, it,
But you've given them, everybody, I feel like
Yeah.
ample time. Right?
Yeah.
You gave up like a time that you're.
right, and if it's a little grassy area and it's not gonna cause whatevers, it's probably gonna just go around it. But if you're trying to get the brushway back and your tire's right here and, yeah.
No, I get it, I get it.
The
And-
best thing for people to do that are
to
listening
just
or
pick 'em
see minutes or anything would be, after we have our primaries, which is what most of the signs are for right now.
And when is that?
That is next Tuesday.
Oh, then we're gonna be good
Then
anyway.
After that, they should
Oh,
take the
yeah,
signs down. I know lots of
Okay.
people like to leave them up, but they should take the signs down.
Yes, they should.
And then not put any signs back up, even if it's their person that won and they're going forward into November, that put them up after the mowing's done.
Sure,
That's their
sure,
place.
okay, if it's next, then they're gonna be all cleaned up and gone anyway, so Can't
Hopefully.
keep track of.
It would be nice.
It would, right, we'll see.
And thank you guys for working with Emmett and not kicking this can down the road any longer. We've gone through like my whole lifetime in Webster, kicking the can. And now you guys are really working hard to get these bridges fixed and roads cared for, and thank you.
Oh, no, it's been great.
I just wish I could've gotten them done before I'll be up for election again.
Dana's,
I don't
everybody's
think
been great. I mean,
anybody's gonna blame you.
this board's been great. Steve Adams, he's an awesome man.
Oh, that's great.
Things-
Unfortunate right now.
You hate to say how good it's going because something will bite you in the back of the leg in the morning, but
I ran on trying to get infrastructure stuff done, and we're trying. It doesn't always work as well, but trying. Yes.
Well, my question was, how are people being notified about the signs? Because our kick in the butt is that right now we don't have the grapevine, you know,
Okay,
to
she's
tell
around.
people.
Pass the word, it's, if they tune in or they see the minutes.
Let's add a notification to the
On the,
website.
oh yeah, right
I've
on, yeah.
made a note to do
Yeah,
that.
perfect.
right, when we worked down there on Deer Meadow Road, I was in contact with Dana in the mornings or in the evenings when things were gonna be closed and unclosed and different things, and then people just,
A lot of people didn't know anyway, even though it was
Yeah.
posted, so.
yeah,
But
But
we
we
should
all-
definitely put it on our website.
everybody
and-
made it home for supper and,
And if someone's political sign is taken down and either further in their yard or in their driveway when they come home,
yeah.
it'll
So-
be after the.
But I think we're gonna
after
be
the
fine
primaries
if
anyway.
they're gonna be voting next week, and then we're not gonna mow for 3 more weeks. I think we're in good shape. I just didn't know when everything was all coming together.
Yes, primaries are Tuesday, and then November is the normal election, just like usual, so.
Oh, and we have zoning. That's not gonna interfere with zoning, is it?
What?
We have a zoning hearing Tuesday.
You'll be in another room. I think he's gonna, either the select board room or the cafeteria. Russ says, cause this won't be available upstairs here.
So-
Those primaries, you know.
If you're done with me, I'm going back up to the farm.
Can I go with you?
Do you see anything else? Before you go, let's jump to the budget presentation schedule, because that will involve Emmett. I'm sure it can be sent in email, but just.
I
so-
have one.
Just so he sees it and can comment.
Right, I have talked to Emmett about the budget, presentation.
Oh, I have the dates.
Yeah,
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 that's.
I gave you this, didn't I?
I have it on my
If not, I
desk
can.
at the firehouse, yes, sir.
And basically, I just wanted, just was gonna just inform the board, this is the schedule. I think I may have sent it to you, if not, I'll give you another one.
Well, I think
It's
I-
in page 5 of the
We
packet.
do,
Yeah.
yes, we have it. I saw
We're
that.
starting, at the next meeting to work on budgets, and it's going to be the police department and me, I guess.
Sure. On the 18th, something like that.
You are the 17th of October.
17th, hey, it's off a day.
Yep. And again, it gives us enough wiggle room in the event we need to do something.
Dave's got a strict deadline though,
I know.
okay?
We're
And he's
trying
gonna
to
be in
make
a lot of
everything
trouble
good.
if he's not there.
So I guess
Work on that.
what I'm gonna do is double everything and then just hope for the best.
See if it gets voted in.
All right, so,
Thanks, Emma.
Thank
Thank
you
you
guys,
very
have a
much.
good
You
evening.
too.
so that moves us on to,
Did you wanna go over, I gave you each the updated budget,
oh, sure, we can do that now.
and I don't mean to
I
bore you
figured we
with,
might do that in the new business.
if you'd like to do it then, that's fine, yeah.
Yeah, let's get the quote exciting stuff out of the way first, I think. What people might be waiting for, town-owned properties, which is our old business.
Okay, there were two things in the town-owned properties. One was, I had a lot, the last lot down at Pillsbury, Lake District, that was for sale. I did not receive any bids on it. which means that all the lots that were not bid on, now we can open up and put them
To the
out
general
to
public.
the general public.
Okay, perfect.
So we will do that. The other issue is there are two bids that will be coming up in October, October 3rd. One is for 874 Battle Street and the other for 1073 Cornhill Road. I was going to ask you, we have that on the website, if I can get it in the Grapevine, and there is a Grapevine, I will do that, although I don't know how much time that it will give. I think it would make sense, and I know that you hate me to spend money in the Concord Monitor, but it would make sense to put it in the Concord Monitor. Again, expenses come back to us. We
Yeah.
can keep expenses.
No, they-
And the Monitor is expensive. I mean, it's,
Would it,
I just want as many
because those
people
are the
to know
second
about
one,
it
and
as
so if-
possible.
Well, that's that's October due, that's not.
It's the first Monday in October, the
Okay.
3rd,
The bids have to be in by September 30th though, right?
yes,
So-
In your office stamped.
right.
Yeah, I mean, I don't like spending the money, but I'm sure it's going to come back on this on these properties, so.
I mean, other towns do it. I'm not
Yeah.
quite sure how that, like, if we don't have our local paper running around.
I
I
mean,
think
the-
that's what we're worried
Well,
about.
The only thing I could think of is, you know, if he gets confirmation that the Grapevine's being delivered this week, or within a week, then maybe not, but otherwise do it, but yeah, it makes sense to
I
me.
will ask Dee, I'm not really encouraged.
Yes.
I was wondering, if you put it in the Monitor, just put it in the Sunday real estate section, that's where they have, you know, auctions and things like that. And I think you get the best bang for your buck just putting it in the Sunday one. Because it would go online too. They do print and online. You'd reach all your people.
If that's not more expensive, that would make sense.
Yeah, I don't know if there'd be a difference in price. I think it's a good idea to put it in the Sunday Monitor. And I know I said this, but they're not cheap. I mean, it's an
Right.
expensive
I
proposition.
think it's a few $100 to put something in
Yeah.
them.
Yeah.
And the full disclosure for everybody, there is a reasonable chance that a or multiple members of the select board may bid on said property. So keep that in mind and make sure that if you're handing something to Dana, it's actually sealed. And then it won't be opened until the time that all of the bids get opened in front of everybody at a meeting. Yes, please.
In one way, I have no problem with Selectmen bidding on this, other than your town policy.
Town policy specifically
Excuse
states
me,
only
please,
open bids.
excuse me, let me have the floor. With your town policy reading, the select board have the right not to follow the town policy.
That's the very last line.
And you folks, as the selectmen, can do whatever you want to do and do not have to follow the town policy on a sale of this property. And you want to bid on it, there's an issue here.
So the way that the policy.
And on this sale that you have up here, you said right in that sale policy that you do not have to sell it to the highest bidder. You can sell it to anybody that you want to sell it to. And you selectmen
That's,
are gonna make this decision.
Can you read the exact wording for us, please?
From the,
Yeah.
for the ad,
I
for the advertisement you have for the
think
bids.
it's most appropriate, which may not be the highest bidder, but if that's not the way it
And
is.
you selectmen may bid on this, and you're the ones that are gonna be making the decision. So I have a conflict of interest here if you're gonna be bidding on it.
I would suggest that if a select board member chose to bid on this property, hopefully all three of you wouldn't bid on it. but that the person that bid on it would recuse themselves from the bid granting.
So am I right on what I've been just stated?
So that's what I would suggest.
I believe he's still looking it up.
No, I can read it if you'd like.
Yes,
This is-
please.
This is on, and we're not talking Pillsbury Lake, we're talking the properties. I don't know how much you want me to read, but I'll start it off here.
Basically, the part where he's mentioning the,
The town policy part of it.
where it may not be just the highest bidder portion.
Okay, well, this is what it says in the bid spec.
Perfect, thank you.
The select board reserves the right to accept the bid that is determined to be in the best interest of the town or to reject any or all bids,
Okay.
is what that says.
But this select board has stated that this town policy, with that bottom line, is no good. You have made that statement in the selectmen meetings in the past.
No,
Yes, you have.
Yeah.
Yes, you have.
we have not stated it
Yes,
is
you
no
have.
good. We have
And you are
stated
gonna
that
be
that
going
allows
through-
for exceptions.
And you're gonna be going through the town policies, and when you get to this policy, you would correct it. You have made that statement back in the
I think we
spring.
already did that, where we added that it had to have a reason, it had to be clearly stated as to why the reason and how that was in the best interest
Yes.
of the town, and it must be stated in the minutes and the motion.
Like, because
And
I was
thought it
gonna
was
ask if
Pillsbury
you had
Lake properties
rewritten,
that it referred to,
Yeah,
yeah.
I was gonna ask if you had rewritten the town-owned property, sale of town-owned property, because online, it still has the one signed by Bruce Johnson and Nancy Schofield.
we mentioned that at the last meeting too, where most of them have been done and reaffirmed, but for some reason, not all of them are up on the website.
Yeah, and
We make
that's-
sure that we go through that and make
We
sure
will-
all the
we'll get
latest
them
Because
copies
to
are
me,
there.
caught up.
that is the big one because of what happened in the last year.
Right.
That's really important, especially now if a selectman wants to bid on it. So,
The key thing, both in the bid spec and towards policy, is that whatever is done, as the bid mentions, has to be in the best interest of the town.
I understand that, and
But-
I did have a question, because you said minimum bid on the Fisher House was 30,000. And I don't know how much is owed in taxes, I thought it was like 25 or something. And then whatever it costs for the dumpster, and then to pay us, that's more than 30,000.
It's actually 40,000 now,
Oh, okay.
yeah, it's 40,000,
So it got changed, because.
Oh, it was a typo.
yes.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
typo,
Yeah,
okay.
and I
'Cause- Okay,
fixed
because I
it.
have.
You're absolutely right.
Yeah, I have the
Yeah.
old one, and I just,
Yeah, you're
you know,
absolutely
for the
right.
town. But,
Um,
the townspeople, if they went online right now, they would find the policy that's signed by Bruce Johnson, and that's the one that got him in
Yeah,
trouble.
we
So
definitely
your
need
town
those
policy
updated.
still reads that they don't, your town policy reads that you do not have to follow the town policy on the sale of this property.
So let me.
I'll do that tomorrow,
Yeah.
make sure that it gets
And-
fixed.
And the thing that I'll point out is that the posted policies on the website are there to make it easy to find policies. They are not the quote official policy. The official policy is actually in the office and filed with Michelle as the town clerk. So I really want them all to match, and
Yeah.
they should, and Dana's gonna make sure that they do for us, but,
'Cause You'll need a disclaimer on there stating that, you know, the official policies, like what you just said, the official policies are in the office, that, a disclaimer that these might not have been updated
It's a good idea.
online.
yeah, we should add that to that
That's a good
page.
And my other question is the state RSA, which is the one that Mr. Johnson broke about, you know, you could only buy something for $200 or less.
Mhm.
Has that been investigated? I'm not trying to stop anybody,
Yeah,
because,
that only applies, so that basically says that the only way that you can
It goes out to
do
bid.
any deal with the town over $200
If it goes out to bid,
is
they
if
can
it
bid
is
on
an
it.
open bid, which
Oh.
Open
this
bid,
is.
they can bid on it.
okay, I gotcha. All right, yeah, because I did have that in my questions about that policy online, because it's still Bruce's name signed on it, so, and I knew that that was an important one that you had been working on.
Yeah,
So was
we-
that policy updated then?
Yes,
It was.
what we changed was in that last section, it's, rather than it just being, yeah, okay, do it, it's now everything and the reasons and all of it have to be reflected in the minutes, the motion and why it's there and so on and so forth. So there won't be any questions about motive or reasoning or accusations later on down the road when no one knows what happened, it's just two people. So that won't be a problem anymore, so it'll definitely be part of record.
But I think it's a good idea to have the disclaimer.
Yes.
And also, eventually, those are gonna go away when we have the book done. So it'll be the book that's online. the
Yeah, it'll be a
book.
policy
Yeah.
book, so all of the policies and things.
Perfect.
So, but I'll, and this is probably my area, I'll talk with Russ about
Okay.
getting an updated one on. Yeah.
Because nobody likes to repeat something that wasn't really that much fun.
Exactly.
Personally, I don't.
And the problem is, it's kind of still an open thing. I need to make an appointment to talk with you, closed session sometime. There are a couple of us who wanna talk to you about a situation. So, and I was told that I should talk to you first, instead of doing it at a selectman meeting and going into closed session. So, Dana knows what I'm talking about,
Yes, yeah.
so.
Yes, please.
When this property is open for bid, it's being sold as one piece of property, correct?
By this, you mean Battle Street?
Yep.
Where am I? Yeah.
I do that all the time. I'm always pointing and I'm always in the wrong direction. I do that. Where are you pointing
That
at?
big place that used to have a dumpster in front of
Yeah,
it.
that's right, yeah, yeah.
Yes.
That is one lot, that's not being cut up, right?
Well, we certainly didn't subdivide it.
Oh.
There's no subdivision has been done.
Thank you. We had that
It's
hearing.
the lot on that side of the road, the opposite side of the road. and I
They're
can't-
not selling
Is
both
that
lots.
the east side of the road, maybe?
So
Right,
to
It's
be
not
clear, it's not
including that
including the
little
garage
garage,
there.
yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, the
'cause that-
conservation isn't getting,
no. Nothing is being done, the whole piece of property.
It's a 7
We have not
acre
changed the
piece.
property in
Yeah, just
any
the
way.
easement.
The existing easements with the neighbor across the street that were brought up, I haven't looked at them, but if they are there, they still will exist there.
They'll go with it.
We have not changed anything about the property.
thank you. I mean,
Can I ask one other question?
Certainly.
If more than one of you bids on that,
Mhm.
how does a decision get made?
It comes to me.
I would hope,
my default.
and granted, this is, maybe I'm naive, but I would hope that the board would do the correct thing and whatever is the most appropriate for the town. So most likely the highest bid. I don't see why anyone would do not the highest bid for this piece of property.
That is an excellent question,
Yeah,
however.
it is, I
but,
know, right?
um,
I mean, that's not even something that crosses you.
Which I
Except
would-
that what happened,
I would
Well,
talk
that-
to the
talking
attorney
about,
about
but-
it.
You know,
That
that's
was-
always gonna be in the back of people's
People's
minds
minds,
now.
yeah.
Not that we would expect you to do that, but it's just always gonna be there.
I mean, if there are multiple or all of the select board members made
Yeah.
offers on it, when they come out, then we can, if it's one person, we can recuse ourselves fairly
Mhm,
easily.
yep.
If it's two, then maybe we know that they are made ahead of time and just before any of the bids, we just say we're going to accept the highest appropriate bid.
I think I would talk to the attorney. and say,
yeah,
How
I
does
do too.
that
Because
work?
because like, first of all, you don't want to, nobody wants,
Nobody wants the situation.
nobody wants to own
Right.
something and not own it fairly.
Right.
Most
Right,
people,
yeah.
okay?
Most people,
Okay,
yeah.
I get that, John, but
I
you know what I
understand.
mean? But I agree with you, I understand wholeheartedly. I personally am not that person that would want that
Right.
stigma, maybe that's not even the right word, I don't know, but we wanna do what's right. I mean, we don't sit up here because we want to,
But you
just
can
like
look
you
at-
guys don't come here, you wanna do the right thing for the town. You
Exactly.
come here every
I'm
night, or
looking-
every time we come, but just hear me out. So I agree, so that would be important to have that very full and right there, so that even, let's say all three of us, I don't even know, when he said that, I don't know if I'll even bid on it,
I'm
or
gonna
anyone.
just tell you, no, you don't want it.
Right, right. No, but we wanna do it so that there's not that question in somebody's mind, that, you know, as we sit up here and try to do the best we can, just like you guys
Yeah,
come and
but-
do the
and
best you
even-
can. You
and
don't want
even-
that question in somebody's mind, I don't
Right.
want that question in
Absolutely
somebody's
But even
mind.
other elected officials.
Right.
In the town.
That's right,
'Cause
yeah.
Who knows, what if everybody did?
Well,
But-
right, but and that should be everybody's right, we're all taxpayers, we're all
Correct.
citizens of this town, we
That's
all do
why
our
it should
thing.
go for the highest bid.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, the only thing is, every time I ever bid on anything, meaning as a company and things, they always have a right to reject it. I have wondered that myself, why, except that maybe there's something, I don't know.
Well, maybe they heard a scuttlebutt about.
Yeah, or
Well,
something.
sometimes I think that's more common if you're looking for service.
Yeah,
And when you go to, you have someone who you know can't do it.
Right,
Or there's
right.
some sort of.
It's also
you know,
really common if there isn't a listed minimum.
And the lowest
True.
bid is not always the best bid.
that's
you know.
right, yeah.
This is a different situation.
This is
but, yeah.
what I didn't like with how I read this. Now, maybe I'm not reading it the right way. But this is how I read it, is you don't have to accept the highest bid.
Right,
I read on the computer, the town policy is still the old policy,
well, right, which is not, but, yeah.
and that's on the computer, and I didn't like it.
Yep. So definitely that has been updated.
Okay,
We have
but
signed that.
that's not what I saw.
Probably 2 months ago, 3 months ago.
And I read
something like that.
this sale on this property is, you don't have to accept the high bid. And that's your decision.
Right.
Yeah, it's worded best interest of the town, I think.
That's how it worded it.
And that's your decision. I could offer 150,000 and you could buy it for 75.
Right, right, well, no, oh, God, yeah.
And that would be the decision of you three selectmen up there, selling it to one of you selectmen for 75,000, even though I bid 150.
Right.
So the only.
You see where I'm going with that?
Oh, absolutely.
I completely understand what you're saying.
Absolutely.
I'm trying to think of
And-
ways that might actually.
And who
be
makes that
applied.
decision whether they're gonna give it to one of the selectmen or this high bid for 150, or sell it to the selectmen for 75?
The only thing I can think of.
Who makes that best decision?
For best interest of
I'm
the
just throwing
town
numbers.
that would not be the high bid is, for example, if the Pillsbury Lake lots were always an open bid and preference was given to abutters instead of us doing an abutter bid and then an open bid. But since our policy has been to just do an internal bid with just those abutters first, like I don't see where that would actually be used instead of highest bidder.
This is what I don't like about your policy, the way it's written.
Though I suppose it's possible for somebody to bid something that is non-monetary in addition to monetary. I never thought about that, but I suppose that's possible.
So if you just had a better policy,
Well, it protect everybody in a sense,
then
even us, yeah.
you folks could bid on that, there would be no issue.
Yeah,
If
It
you
would
just
be-
had
I
a
mean,
straight policy
If you had an
up there.
auctioneer, which is allowed by law, I mean, that would solve,
We'd have to pay them, but.
oh, but, yeah.
still, the money comes out of the person you're
Yeah.
selling it, I don't
True.
know, I mean, I get where we're all coming from.
I mean, they're all good
We don't
points,
think
yeah.
that way, so.
But if you
But,
had a
but, you're
straight,
right, yeah, you're like all of a sudden, oh, the three of you.
if you had a
Give
straight,
so-and-so,
if you had a straight sale sold to the highest bidder, there would be no issue that the selectmen bought it.
right, right.
There'd be no issue.
And it would be clear that there was no intent to enrich yourselves as opposed to,
Right,
so that's.
That's what I'm trying to say, your
needs to go
policy,
away.
your town sale policy is no good.
Well, that's not even the sale policy, that's.
I
the
know
bid
it's not.
So,
Well, I guess sometimes, I mean, you know,
we should ask about that.
yeah, I would, cause I mean, none of us, well, I'm not gonna speak for you, but I have no problem saying to the highest bidder. The only thing is sometimes you don't think of everything like, all I can think of is, like, what if the highest bidder wanted to put 90 homes in there or something, that's not the best for the town.
Yep.
I know, 'cause that's
We
what I
don't
was saying.
have we should have
Because it's
proper things in
zoned.
place, so that can't happen anyways,
Yep.
right? Meaning proper rules on the planning board side of things, you know, when they put together a subdivision and they gotta get, you know, whatever.
So that's another possibility that, you know, as I'm trying to think about
Right.
how these things might work. I don't think it's going to change anything for the current board that we have, but I could see how different boards at different times might say, for example, this person's, part of the bid says that they will put on the deed no subdivisions. Or this
And that would
person's
be where
bid
it'd be
says
best
that they
town
will
interest,
put,
right.
10 acres of it into conservation. This isn't 10 acres, but, you know, that kind of thing that could skew more than
sway
just price.
off the top price.
Yeah.
Because as a town doesn't really make, yeah, cause I was thinking that, but there again, who wants that? John, it would be more or
That's where you
less.
get interesting of
Yeah.
like, what is the town's best interest?
Right, exactly.
Everybody's got their own personal agenda on different boards in this town as well.
Well, that's why I'm trying to come up with these things that might happen in the future of why we may or may not change wording.
We've
Or-
already,
for the
in my
future.
opinion, we've already gone through that on previous select meetings on the sale of this property, whether it goes to conservation or whether it goes for special easements.
Oh, yeah, I'm not talking
So,
about for this
for the best
property.
interest of this town, it was gonna go for sale.
Right, and that's what it is.
Right,
So-
I'm trying to use these as object lessons for us to look forward as to what other boards might do or other properties might do and how we might change the wording or still accomplish a
Well,
lot.
we've already seen what other boards in the past have done. Some have been pretty crooked and underhanded.
Well,
and you can't
I hope
figure
you
out
think
what
that
other
we're trying
boards
to
are gonna
the
do.
right thing, and I'll leave that there.
I think that's the reason that we left that in the policy though, of the fact that what, in the best town's interest, because let's say none of us did, right? Or let's say you bid on it, right? And you said, I'm gonna pay 50 grand, but I'm gonna do this and that for the town, right? And then this developer comes out of, I don't know, Massachusetts, and he comes in, I'm gonna pay 75,000, but I wanna subdivide it into 3 or 4 different parcels. Now, us sitting here, as the money doesn't necessarily come to the town, but what's best for the town would be to take your bid, not the other bid, but it's $25,000 less. See what I'm saying?
Unless you
But I
look
can
at
tell
property
you-
taxes.
Well, true, right, and then maybe,
So
well,
then you've got
so,
a different-
so the best case scenario of it, you know, I suppose, why do we have a say? But that's why even when we talked about putting some of the land in conservation, that to me, sometimes it's to be good to all the people in the town, not just the person buying it.
But I can tell you what my intent is, and once I get my hands on that piece of land, what I do with it is my business.
True.
Exactly.
Well, I don't know, well,
And-
like he pointed out, is it would have to be something
Right,
placed in
right,
the
it might,
deed
it
or
might be
whatever.
part of the bid that
Yeah.
the bid is
The deed will
to
read-
this amount, but X amount in conservation.
Yeah.
Well, we've already
Altering the
did that in
deed,
previous selectmen meetings, that that's not gonna happen.
Not with this one.
Right, not with this.
But if you put that into the sale of the property,
But hold on, though, tell me if I'm wrong, I'm just trying to understand it myself. If somebody came in and so you're gonna open 5 or 6 bids, and they say, I'm gonna buy it for 75 grand, and I will put a deed that it's, out of the 75, and like you said, maybe our town, we want more tax base, but schools and stuff, and we're gonna leave the rest and gonna put it so that no building or anything could ever be done. But I wanna pay less because I'm not gonna make as much off it, because I wanna preserve the property, okay? And then the next guy comes in and says, well, I'm gonna give 150,000, but according to our rules and regulations, granted they have to follow, and I'm making this up, I'm making a scenario, I'm gonna put 3 house lots in there. So that's where I think that's
So-
why we left the wording in the best interest of the town.
No one in a bid should say whether they plan to subdivide or not. But if someone wanted to quote, add value to a bid by saying,
That's what I'm
I'll add
saying.
into the deed that it is no longer subdividable.
Okay, fine.
Or, you know, something. of
He's
that
good with
nature.
words, I just say what in my
But
brain
But
thinking
he's
of stuff.
saying he's gonna do this.
Well, no, you'd
But once
have,
once you give him that law, whether he actually does that,
well, like we've sold land in the past where
But you
you have to
can't-
build something, there is a covenants on it. Where when you sell that lot to, let's say you and I said, you have to build a two-story home.
I don't think you can legally do that,
Oh.
because you're opening up this bid.
Maybe not on this
for
side of things.
everybody.
It
Not-
might be
not
too much.
here, but
You're
like-
selling this out to everybody for bids.
Yeah, we
just
And
do
you're
a
opening
release
up
deed,
bids at
really.
one
And
night.
so
Yeah.
And you
the
can't
things
make,
that
you
she
can't
mentioned are
start making people sign
perfectly.
contracts
So the things
to
that.
give this bid out.
So yes, but no.
Coming up with
The things
reasons
that
for
she's
that.
mentioned about like covenants for building, we can't do with something like this.
That's right.
How, they do exist, they are legal, they're done a lot.
One at a
But-
time.
But
What
not
do
for
you-
something like this.
Right.
The thing that you have to look at though is as part of the sale contract, and we actually do this with, for example, Pillsbury Lake. Part of the reason that we offer it to abutters first, and part of the contract and purchase of the property
They have to join them.
is it must be merged.
Yes.
And they don't get the property until they sign in all the paperwork for it
Yes.
to merge.
Yes.
That's the set, you can do exactly the same thing with if someone offers to have a, you know, a bid but put X amount in conservation, or to adjust the deed, if they pay for doing that work,
Yeah,
that's
but
required.
that has to be added on to the sale,
No, no, no,
that they have to do this.
no, because you're.
Yes, it
What
is.
what has to happen, if that were the accepted bid, and I'm not saying it would be, but if something like that were the accepted bid, then it would be, we accept that, and then after you've paid to have these things happen, then the deed transfer actually
Yeah.
happens, but not until then.
But everybody has to bid on the same thing.
They are.
That's right. So it has to be in the sale that everybody has to do that, so they're all bidding on the same thing.
They're all bidding on the property, but what?
Yes, but they all
But they're-
have to bid on the same
but they're
thing,
not
that
all-
they can't do this.
They are all bidding on the same thing.
Right.
They're just not all necessarily all bidding with only money.
Well, my question was, isn't it somewhere, because this is 7 acres,
No.
a 7 acre piece of property. We have zoning, which is 5 acres. So isn't it somewhere that, I mean, that can't be subdivided because it's 7 acre
So we covered
property?
this in the public hearing. It can be because it was grandfathered. It
Okay.
can be subdivided one more time and both would be buildable lots,
Oh, okay.
or
Now,
residential capable lots, I should
okay,
say.
now my other question is, what is the benefit to having a sealed bid or go to auction? Which, now, how do you decide which way to go?
So we generally have been doing sealed bids, and there's a couple advantages to the town for that. One is that it allows for a large period of time for people to do their research, to bring stuff in, to leave it whenever is convenient to them. And generally, it serves the people in town more easily and better, because more people just in town are typically gonna be in and out of the office, reading the grapevine, et cetera. It's also cheaper because we don't have to pay for an auctioneer, an auction house, et cetera. The downside possibly is that if you were joining into a giant set of like land auction sales, maybe there would be more eyes on it. But if we were in a market where shortly before COVID, everything was going downhill, no one really wanted to buy anything,
Right.
that might make more sense. In today's environment, I would be highly surprised to not see lots of bids above our asking price, which
Okay.
is quite low. So I don't expect that there's anything that the town would benefit from by getting, more for the town by doing that.
Yeah, I was just
Those
curious.
are kind of the plus and minuses.
I was
that-
just curious,
that I
because
see.
you see houses auctioned off all the time,
Mhm.
and I just wasn't sure I mean, because this is kind of an unusual piece, you know, old house and waterfront, so.
Well, anyway, but that was my comment anyway with the town policy and.
I think we were also just trying to explain why we left any of that words in there to say what in the town's best interest. It doesn't, I'm not even saying it has to do with that one, but, I mean, I understand where you're coming from, but we
That's
didn't
standard
leave it,
boilerplate
we didn't leave it, yeah, if you look at any of them, you know, Bosquen, all the surrounding towns, that wordage is in there too, so.
Well, you know, I always hear this, that, well, to Bosquen does this, Salisbury does this.
No, but I just
No,
went,
what, let me finish, please.
never mind, okay, finish, and then we can just move on, 'cause I
I'd
think we were
like-
trying to
I'd like-
explain why we left it there, but if you don't wanna hear
No.
it, that's fine.
I'd like my statement.
Yes, you do.
I wish sometimes Bosquen or somebody say, well, we did this because Webster does it. I wish the town of Webster won't keep saying, well, Salisbury's doing this, and Warner's doing this, and Bosquen's doing it, so we're gonna do it. I'd like Webster to be able to stand on their own 2 feet once in a while and say, this is what we're doing.
Being a trailblazer.
Not because Salisbury and Warner and Bosquen and Hopkins is doing it. I
We still
hope,
have a police
I
department,
hope someday we can
and
stand
Salisbury doesn't.
on our own 2 feet,
Yeah,
not be
and
a
I
bunch
think
of
we do.
sheep and follow everybody else.
Well,
So, my
we-
only comment on that, and I actually agree.
me too.
However, being a trailblazer is great until someone says you did it wrong and everyone copied you. And so, using legal precedent, and that's what this is, it's a standard legal language of a bid spec, is why we do it that way, because it's generally the most legal way to do it.
I can understand that.
So, and I guess I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah,
Do we have any other further town
I
property
do.
stuff? Oh, yay.
I need you to sign 2 release deeds of the properties that you sold 2 weeks ago.
These were both Pillsbury Lake,
Yeah,
correct?
and actually, I need Russ here to notarize it, so let's do it another time.
Okay.
oh. Tara, how
Is
come you
that-
don't have your notary?
Yeah.
How come you don't have your notary?
Is that something where
I'm
we
just
can
kidding.
do
I was
that
kidding.
with
Russ is
an
out.
individually
Doesn't have a
in the
notary.
office?
Oh,
Yes.
Okay.
I'd love to be
Yeah.
a notary. I mean, I don't know how, it can't be that hard to do.
No,
that
you
hard to
should.
Yeah.
People make money going around doing that.
Just sign your own signature, it's pretty easy.
All right, do we have any other
This
town-owned
myself.
property business?
That's all I have in town-owned property.
Okay, town policy update.
These are just some, couple policies that I need signed that were reaffirmed. One is the check disbursement policy. You asked me to reword that.
In 2 weeks. Any noted discrepancies will be discussed. I mean, I think that's,
That's what we talked
Yeah.
about, but, yeah.
I mean, it's just a standard check display. How we pay people.
Yeah, basically just talking about how we release the checks. The next is the town council policy.
Don't remember talking about this one. Have we?
You asked me to, yes, we did some time ago. And we can wait till next time if you'd like to read it. and
Oh, this
think
was,
about it.
this was the amount for
Yes,
you, basically.
yeah.
So was it a change in the amount, or was it adding the amount? I think it was adding.
Before the policy was, the select board had to make the decision
Mhm.
to go to the attorney.
And then
So
we're
it was
giving you
number-
some
You had talked to
leeway
me if it
to
was
go to
under
the
a
attorney
certain
if we need,
ceiling.
yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
so the addition is under reasons is number 1, which is the town administrator is authorized to contact town council for routine inquiries to facilitate day-to-day issues if required, and the cost will not exceed $500. The town administrator will secure authorization for any continued contact for specific cases after approval by the select board. So, yeah, okay, that's great. Thank you for the memory refresh.
Well, I've had this folder sitting on my desk and it keeps bouncing across the desk back and forth, so
I
now
have
I'm
those.
finally getting to it.
Well, I know you were waiting for all three members, but.
Well, I can't blame that on that. Do I have the other one
Oh,
down,
no.
please?
Oh, yeah, have a check.
All right, thank you. And that was that.
And those will be on the website at 8 in the morning, right?
8:10.
Okay.
Okay. Get myself confused, all right. Buzz it, oh, go ahead.
And we talked about this, we did it in announcements, but the other town policy portion was scheduling for review of the
Yes,
personnel policy.
right, and
which
you're
is
doing
that-
that the 14th at 3:30. Yeah. And I will let Dee know.
Was there any other town policy updates?
No,
Okay.
that's all I have.
All right, that moves us on to new business. The budget presentation schedule, which we sort of went over,
Right.
but just for Emmett.
That was just the schedule of the department heads, people responsible for budgets, when they come in to present them to you, and this is the first round. It's and I think we did that last year, but department heads come in, present their budget, the board will either change it then, or discuss it later, and then call the department head back in to say, no, we're not going to do X, or we're not, or whatever. And that way, it helps communication, so no one is surprised when we do the warrant.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I believe there was a hand.
Yes, I was going to ask, very politely, that if I could ask 2 questions, you can get rid of us, so we won't bother you the rest of the time.
Oh, we miss you, what do you mean? Come on now. Stay and have fun with us.
Someone's gotta make sure we're doing a good job.
That's right, absolutely.
Oh, I have my cameras and
Yeah, right, yeah. Yes, we are on film, right?
my question was, I saw on, August 15th agenda that you had a request received from the town treasurer. Do we have a town treasurer?
Yes.
Okay, because I know Michelle had resigned and her deputy had resigned.
Yes.
So I didn't know if we had a town treasurer yet.
Yeah, at the last meeting, we took care of and appointed that.
Was that at the meeting house or?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay,
And
'cause we
so
didn't go
that's
to that.
Therese. and-
Therese Larson
Oh,
is
that's
the
right,
treasurer.
And who was the
And the
deputy?
deputy is Brenda Silver.
Uh,
Okay. and
Okay,
my-
yeah, that was for that, not the trustees replacement.
Right, and the trustees, because Therese was on the trustees of trust funds, Mary Welch was.
Oh. He's got a good memory for names.
Yeah. And my other
Sometimes.
question was, do you, you're going to approve draft minutes for the 15th, which was at the meeting house, but I couldn't find any minutes for the 1st, for August 1st.
Pretty sure we approved them
They were
at the meeting
approved, were they not
house,
on the
but-
website?
No,
We better talk to
I'm
ourselves.
telling
Okay.
you. And I'm
I'll
never
send them
on the
to you.
computer.
I'll send them to you
Okay, that would be
by
great.
email, is that okay?
Yeah, oh, that's fine.
Okay.
Yeah,
August, what was it?
August 1st.
First, okay,
Yep. Because we didn't go to the one at the meeting house.
okay.
Oh, did the meeting, did those, the members, did they go in and to Fisher House and get anything that they,
I have told them,
Found
they haven't gone
interesting?
yet.
Okay.
But I informed them, that it's ready for them to come and
good,
take a look at,
good.
yeah.
There's some good stuff in there that it's the one messy room.
It's,
Was everybody happy? Did anybody go in and look? Was everybody happy with our work?
I did walk through it, and it's
Looks-
definitely
yeah.
clean enough for anyone to walk through safely, so thank you very much.
Yeah, it's a nice house. It's got nice features and
It really does.
Yeah.
The
It's-
house shows a lot of
It's
potential.
very sad what happened to it,
it is.
yeah,
Very sad.
Well, let's keep our fingers crossed.
yeah.
Shows potential.
Yeah,
It-
we all know what that costs.
It certainly has old home
Oh, it's
issues,
gonna
but
take
it's
a lot
also
of money to
very,
restore it.
But it
very
would be neat
potential.
if that was to happen.
Yeah, it'd be a nice show house right there on the road, beautiful.
Thank you folks for your time.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much.
Thank you very much. We appreciate it more than you know. And we
We're on
appreciate
your
what
hand
you
now.
guys do, we really do.
It's
It's-
good to hear that from
It's
time to
not,
time.
it's not an easy job. I've been asked and I said,
It's not, you can run for my position.
Yeah, somebody fooled me.
who is
None of
gonna
us are
run
jumping
this
for the
thing?
job.
They've got so many openings.
You can blame me, I voted for both of you guys.
Thank you very much.
Oh, yes.
Actually, speaking of openings, do you wanna, we probably could have covered that in announcements, but
We have openings right now in the, I can't say this word, refuse, committee. It's a
Oh.
three-member.
Oh, that's right.
yeah, the refuse disposal. committee, I
Refuse
think.
disposal committee.
Isn't Chris Shadler the only one on there right now?
She's not on that, she's resigned.
Oh, she did?
So,
Yeah.
we've got to.
So now all three members have.
Wow, this
resigned.
is for the dump, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And there's also open positions for ZBA.
I think there may be like an alternate position left in the ZBA.
Huh.
You're gonna appoint.
Planning board can use alternate as well.
Planning board
right?
is.
I think so.
Is full.
Yeah.
Oh, we're
Oh, they're
full,
full
oh,
now.
good.
Yeah,
Okay.
so,
I just show up when I'm supposed
we're
to.
actually in pretty good shape, but it's that
good.
refuse.
Most committees and
And-
commissions can use alternates, if not main members.
Yeah.
Because I know, isn't Karen King, is she done this year as tax collector?
No, she is not, she has changed her mind.
Oh, she did?
I
Okay.
believe her position's on the ballot this year, though.
Yes,
Yeah,
well,
there's a
she'll be
bunch of-
running,
Bunch of ballot positions, so.
yeah. She'll be
And all I
running.
can say is, it's the wrong hand, but hopefully you'll find somebody to beat selectmen.
Are you gonna take your envelope, is there something in there?
You don't wanna know what's in it.
Oh, really? Well, that's why I thought I'd
Is
mention.
there something good?
That's the microphone.
Right.
This is, it's the official 007 pen.
Wow.
See, somebody good
that?
just needs to come and run for my position. There we go.
No, you need to keep it.
Seriously, please,
Do.
because
Thank you all.
I can only do so
Thank you.
much.
Appreciate it.
Perfect, yeah.
No, Tara would say, Marla, really? Oh, God, I'd be in so much trouble.
All right.
No.
Would be fun. Thank you again.
Thank you.
Negative.
Okay, so that was the budget presentation schedule. That moves us to utility assessments.
This is the annual, assessments on the utilities. Our utility appraiser is, George Sansucci.
And he more or less tells them what we're allowed to charge them.
He is, a professional.
Yeah.
And he understands utilities.
And what it's worth for
And-
them to have it,
and
and what it's not overworth, or,
Right,
you know, right. yeah.
and he would not suggest something that he could not defend.
Fact.
I think that's the biggest point.
Because when we issue the tax bill to them, it wouldn't be unlike them to come in and say, that's too much.
Well,
And
by
they
and
always
large,
do. And the last time they did that, and he said, don't. Stick with what's there. And-
Or else,
and-
it could be
and-
worse.
and they
part
know
of-
him, so
yeah.
they knew
Very
that,
nice.
you know, they always, I mean, all the utilities seem to, and I shouldn't say they do, but they seem to apply for an abatement every year.
Yeah,
And why wouldn't they?
right.
You
Well, they
worst case-
apply to up your rates and they apply for abatements.
Yeah, so,
And part of our contracting with him is that he supplies all of the evidence and supplies everything.
That's
and-
a very
and
nice
even
to have
the-
in our corner.
The backup for, he'll come and
Yeah.
do the testifications and stuff if there were ever a court case.
right.
So,
So he's explained how he does that, and I don't need to
That was all the pages.
understand.
yeah, that was all the pages,
Okay,
and then there
good.
was the chart that
Yeah.
shows us what the rates are.
Yeah,
And
that's
then-
cool.
And then he's gone, we have the properties that we have, I guess we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them. Unitil Public Service, which is Eversource, New England Power, New England Hydro Transmission, and then 2 telephone companies, which are now TDS, Kearsarge Telephone Company.
Right.
And the other is Merrimack County, which is how they're still listed on our property records. I summarized at the end, he's given you his assumptions and things like that, which is always fascinating reading. So at the end, since I've lost it, here we go. I was a little dismayed because I saw that out of the 6 that we have, 5 of them were reduced assessments. They've gone down. However, one of them went up enough so that we gained over last year $335,000 in assessed value. That's not money, that's assessed value.
And that was New England Power Company.
So New England Power Company went from 4,237,700 to 5,304,700.
Oh, cause New England Hydro actually went down.
So,
Yeah, New England Hydro is just the transmission, so that's, which is interesting, because they're basically just the high voltage DC line that comes down from Quebec into
Right.
Massachusetts.
So that's interesting, I wonder, well, I'll have to read through here to see how he decided that.
yeah, and he's got each one he has made notes on each one.
Yeah, so if you look at the summary of assigned elements and results for that particular one, it'll tell you.
But who are we to really argue unless we saw something very good,
Let's see
right?
here. Right, but,
Well, I think that's why you hire him, because you're
That's
not a
right.
utility person.
Can you imagine arguing with your own person?
I mean,
oh, so there's under extraordinary assumptions, there's a C report dated November 25th, 2020. So I bet there's a particular schedule that's in, oh yeah, because there was the schedule of they can only change rates by X percentage per year
Something
and
like
stuff
that,
like that. And it
yes.
was scaling and,
yeah,
so that happened like the first one that we got from him.
right.
So,
And if you felt, I mean, I could just pull up the previous year to find it.
but, okay. Mhm.
Perfect.
So that was, so now we're ready to, the MS1, which we asked for an extension on, it was due September 1. We asked for an extension to October 3rd, for 2 reasons. I didn't have this, I didn't know when I was gonna have the utility appraisals. And the assessor's not done with some of the work. And so they asked if we could extend it a month. I'm hoping they're gonna be done. I'd like to get that off my desk and get that sent off to DRA.
Because that's half of setting an actual tax rate.
Well, yeah, it's pretty important. But, I have done the, revenue estimate, which I was gonna talk to you about maybe sometime. Wait, okay?
Oh, go for it.
Okay.
I mean, we're kind of in budgety and stuff anyway, so.
This is the rundown of the revenues that we have in our books right now. And the annual budget is what we guesstimated that we would get in revenue. And again, and I say this all the time, I like to be conservative on my guesstimate because I'd rather end up at the end of the year having more money than less money. So I have changed some of these figures, and Wendy hasn't had a chance to change the amount on the computer. We have not received anything in yield timber taxes. I was counting on $5,000, so I need you, Marlon, to get it.
I was gonna say, I know we haven't had a lot in the way of, like, cuts and stuff that we've signed off on, but we have signed some.
Yeah, but-
Doesn't mean they've reported and paid tax, so,
Yes.
so a lot of times you might sign an intent to cut, like I might sign up, let's say you had a woodlot, I might sign it up now, and I might not cut it until next year. But I
okay.
got an intent in place, so an intent is just a suggestion, it's the
Gotcha.
actual report, and when you finish the cut, that
Yeah.
is where the money comes
So
from.
we haven't, and then.
Which we have not seen any, we have not, Russ hasn't,
Yeah, I
really
haven't seen
hadn't seen
any
any
of those.
reports
No.
after March 31st, because remember, it's March 31st of,
Yeah.
to.
Oh, okay.
And then everybody gets extensions too on that if you extend it, so,
So that's
Thank you
exactly,
for the
that's exactly
clarification.
it.
yeah. I'm glad I know something.
So
Some
anyway,
people might
I was
differ on
thinking,
that.
I took the 5,000 out of my revised, from my revised estimates, cause I don't wanna think about
Is the
that.
revised listed anywhere here, or is this just the report?
This is it, I didn't make copies
Oh,
for
okay.
everybody, but I.
He likes us to read in the dark, have you ever noticed that?
It works for me.
Right. Like, I'm trying to
was just
keep
like,
up,
am
he
I
asked the
missing a
question,
column?
I'm like, where is this? Dave will know. Yeah. Oh, my lord.
So then, let's see, I think I did, I misspoke. The yield tax, I changed to $650, cause I know you signed a couple, thinking
Oh,
maybe,
yeah.
maybe you would.
But we're not seeing that, that's what you're
But-
saying, right?
exactly.
Okay.
Interest and penalties, we'll put that, and we've got it made up of 2 accounts here, but on DRA, I've put 30,000, because as you see, we've already got 30,000 that
Okay.
we received.
Now, is that for this year, or what you're using for expectation for next year?
This is for 22.
Oh, okay.
This is for
Okay.
this year. So in other words, this tax rate will take these figures, your revenues, and put them into the mix.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I mean, these figures can still change, because at the last minute, the DRA might change it.
Speaking of the delinquent taxes, I believe you had some good news to share as well about taxes.
Yes, there were 2 properties that were going to be, if the arrear was not paid by today, and when I say the oldest tax bill arrears, so there's still arrears, Karen King would be coming to you tonight, asking you if you wanted her to deed them. And fortunately, they came in today and paid, so she didn't have to come in. So that's really good news,
Yeah.
because, we're not, we seem to be in the real estate.
We don't have to
Yeah.
have, we don't have to have more properties for sale.
No, I'm with you, this is not what our goal is.
Right, exactly.
As we don't really make money off it anyway.
No, you don't, and it is
That's
a
pretty huge.
tremendous lot of stuff, to do.
Liability.
Let's see, business licenses. I put 2,000 because we've gotten 2,000. Municipal agent fees, we bumped that up 8,000 to 400,000, because this is the end of August is what
You
we've
mean
got.
motor vehicle permit fees?
I'm sorry, yes.
Yeah.
That's
I was
what I
gonna
meant.
say.
And building permits, nothing really there has changed. I tried to match what we had, is what I did. The block grant, you'll notice that's that additional, I'm just skipping down. We haven't gotten the room and meals tax, I'm hoping to get 90,000. Last year, they told us, you're not gonna get 90,000, we actually got 140,000, so who knows,
This is the funnest part about budgets, when it's a big guessing game.
The block grant, we have year-to-date, and that's that additional 61,000 that we got, as part of that SB 403.
Yeah, so the block grant would have actually been lower, but we got more anyway.
Exactly. Income from departments I've adjusted to reflect what we have. Sale of municipal properties, I didn't budget anything for that, but we've gotten 12,000 so far, and once these 2 other sales go through, we're going to have considerably more, which is good, because I have to offset our legal expense. Interest on investments. I asked Wendy if she would look that up, because it seems that $234 is not enough for that. So something is happening. Other miscellaneous revenue, I've lowered that. Don't ask me, I had a pie in the sky thing, I think, on that. So I guess what I'm trying to say to you is
Well,
that,
other miscellaneous revenue, correct me if I'm wrong, but that would include, payments from Unitil for the solar, which we currently haven't gotten yet.
Right, it would.
So
Only
that.
we're not getting it in cash, that's the.
Right, well, right now it's sitting there as a, somehow we're gonna get this, but it's not come as cash, so.
Yeah,
So I don't think that that's actually a pie in the sky number, I think it was actually a fairly reasonable number, we
Well,
just
thank you,
haven't
Dave.
gotten the cash yet.
He's always fun to have on a budget team.
yeah.
No, I'm sorry.
So, at the end of the day, when all's said and done, we had estimated we were gonna have 695,548. As you see, so far, we've gotten 551,148. With my new figures and making adjustments, we're looking for 756,554, so.
Yeah,
And
and
I
I would
think
expect
that's a
that we'll have
realistic
more
figure.
from motor vehicle stuff.
You're gonna have
so
another,
That'd be good.
4 months for motor vehicles, so.
Mhm.
So I just wanted to point that out.
They're all worth a lot more now.
Yeah. Yeah, you think? I know, have they adjusted that on this side of things though?
What's that?
I mean, when the new is the new, you know, when they get the little book, but after that, it's kind of a guessing game.
Well, it's based on initial sale value.
Right, I know.
So-
Who's changing that, and they look it up in a book?
Yeah, it's in a book, but it's all
Yeah.
based on initial sale value.
Yeah, yeah.
So if it was, 10 years ago and, the
Yeah.
car was cheap, and it's on the same scale as today, but the car isn't cheap anymore.
That's
So
right.
even 10 years from now, it's gonna be a lot more payment than an older car.
Yeah. Okay.
Of course, you're gonna have my car and it's at the lowest it's gonna go. I mean,
Both of mine are too.
You don't want my car.
I couldn't afford it.
Though my
They're not
lease
cheap,
went,
but-
my lease went down by $200. Actually, the lease amount,
Really?
I know.
Wow.
But registering, it's a little more pricey than I'd like.
Well, someone.
No, actually, my
I forget
car's
now
not
what they
that
had for a
expensive.
car, but to register is like, $4,000.
Huh?
It's like a very
Yeah,
expensive
no.
sports car.
Oh,
Okay.
well, that's what a big truck is, 3,500.
Wow. Yikes.
And then no sports car.
No.
So,
I should talk to you about trucks later.
Yeah. Okay.
the, Russ is suggesting that he's talked with Susan Roberts about being appointed as an alternate to the zoning board of adjustment. She's agreed to do that. And if you would like to appoint her, we'd like you to consider it.
We certainly know who she is. Has she served on CBA or planning board or anything in the past?
Sue was on the ZBA a number of years ago,
Okay,
so it's not a new,
so she definitely is
so I think
even
she's-
more familiar with it.
I think she's pretty familiar with what the requirements are.
Any thoughts?
No, no, it's fine by me.
So if you'd like to make a motion,
I move that we accept Sue Roberts for the appointed position as
as an alternate
recommended.
on the zoning board?
I second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Geez, Dave, that's the first time we've done that tonight.
Oh,
I
don't
know.
worry, he's got some more.
I'm slipping.
Golly. Does it ever get to the point where something like this, it comes open and we ask people who would like to run?
What you've done in the past, and of course, it's just when people who have been served, when their terms are up, we
Yeah.
usually ask them, do you want to be reappointed?
Right.
But if not, I'd like to have a list of what's available and ask people. you
Yeah,
know,
I mean, I
Because
just-
actually, I had someone ask what they could serve on, and really, right now, all we have is that refuse
Yeah.
committee.
If
And
they have interest in energy, the energy committee can use it.
And you had said the energy committee, although the refuse committee, I've gotta I don't know what to tell them what they're gonna do, it's kinda up in the air. And not much has happened with that for a long time, so, but that's a whole nother issue.
Yeah, I think that's more in the,
It's gotta go.
when Neil working things
Yeah,
out as
Neil
town
and I have to figure it
administrators
out,
on
and if it has to
how
go
we
to
move
town
forward.
meeting and change that. So that's all I had in correspondence.
Well, shut that folder.
So shut down. Shall we go on, you, public comment, you wanna?
Anybody?
Okay.
I heard a cricket.
Yeah. So now approval of the draft minutes of August 15th.
Dave, did you find anything?
So, we've got both the public and the
public and the
non-public.
non-public.
And I see that you gave us the non-public here, so I'm gonna do that one first. I would, do you have any comments, questions, or
No,
changes?
looks good to me.
All right, I would move that we accept the non-public session meeting minutes of August 15th as written.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, so that's taken care of. For the public one, I do actually have two clarification points.
Russ is not here, you know. That's not fair.
One,
Kidding. You can always see the look on his face. He's like,
one is probably important as a change for possible legal reasons. And that was that when we made the motion to accept the unanticipated funds, I did not give specific amounts. He has two amounts listed, which were my average, rough estimated amounts. But the motion was to accept the unanticipated funds as designated by the two bills.
Okay, so to accept the unanticipated revenue from the state as designated by the.
And I probably said the bill names, but I don't have that in front of me at this point.
Yeah, I know what they are, but I don't off the top of my head,
Yeah.
but we'll put those in.
with the exact amount of money. That's what you're.
Well, no, without.
Without-
Oh, without,
Without
okay.
Purposely didn't put an amount,
Okay.
because I don't even know if we even had, I know we had one exact amount, but I don't know if we had the other one yet.
We may have it now, but
And
we did by then.
the second part was, in the community power discussion and section, which, let me see if I can find it to give you a page number. So that was page 3 of the minutes. There's a couple things there that were not quite correct.
Okay.
The Energy Committee was talking about community power at Old Home Day, not the amendments. And similarly, the town meeting warrant article is regarding community power, not those specific amendments.
Okay, so the Energy Committee will be presenting
Now, let's see, so it was.
information regarding community power at Old Home Day?
Yeah, so, and then the other part was, I was reminding the board that, as we previously approved, not informing them about a new JPA or the like. So, on the line 17 of that, I would suggest that instead of Chairperson Hemingway informed the board, it would be Chairperson Hemingway reminded the board that the town was part of the Community Power Coalition of New Hampshire, and that their recent meeting amendments had been put forward that would need to be approved by all the member communities. And then the rest is the Energy Committee would be presenting not the amendments, but community power in detail at Old Home Day.
Okay.
And there would also be a warrant article regarding, instead of the changes, community power at town meeting. And so those are my suggestions. Did you have anything else that you,
Nope.
okay.
The next motion is really, it's an amendment, isn't it? It's not amendments. Is it more than one? I don't think so.
Did you miss
I'm
anything?
looking on
Oh.
page, line 23.
Remember,
Yeah,
I will never pick up clerical problems.
I don't remember whether it would be considered one, I mean, it's an amended JPA, but I don't know if it was, I think there were two sections that were amended.
So amends.
So I think it can be
Is it
correct
okay?
either
Okay.
way. All right.
So would you accept them with those changes made?
I sure would. I would make a motion to accept them with the changes you made.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Beautiful.
All right. Meeting minutes taken care of. Which moves us
The
to
money.
All right.
payments and other signings.
Okay, so motions for payments, I've got motions for payment of bills to the trustees of trust funds. And do I have bills?
Okay.
Yeah, there was some good road work, so that I would expect there to be some good bills.
There are, several bills for Fleece and Flower Farm for work that was done, the bills are here. There is a bill for VHB for engineering work. There's a bill for GMI paving for, Deer Meadow. There's a bill for Core and Main for a supply for Deer Meadow.
Piping, yeah.
And there's a bill from Bosquen Sand and Gravel for, Deer Meadow. So,
All right. This is the weird way again.
yeah, there's, part of it's coming out of road preservation, part of it's coming out of road construction. So,
Okay. Are we supposed to do it as one check, or do they have to keep it separate because it's two accounts?
they can give us one check, but they have, the trustees have to know which account to withdraw it from.
Okay. Well, this one will be a long one. I would move to request that the trustees of trust funds issue a check in the amount of $46,170 payable to Police and Flower Farm LLC for the invoices and topics as follows. To be withdrawn from the Highway and Road Construction Capital Reserve Fund for invoices for Deer Meadow Road, number 6861, 6862, 6864, 6865, and 6868, with that total from the Highway and Road Construction Fund being $9,975. And to be withdrawn from the Road Preservation Expendable Trust Fund for invoices 6877, 6878, 6879, 6880, 6881, 6883, 6884, 6885, 6886, 6887, 6891, 6892, 6894, and 6895, with that total from road preservation being $36,195. These are for work on Clothespin Bridge and Cornhill Roads. And again, that total to Fleece and Flower Farm was $46,170.
I second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. I move to request the trustees of trust funds issue a check in the amount of $1,894.67 payable to VHB for invoice 0383688 to be withdrawn from the Bridge Improvement Capital Reserve Fund for engineering services for Clothespin Bridge.
I second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I move to request the trustees of trust funds issue a check in the amount of $84,693.48 to GMI Asphalt for invoice 22-143-2 for paving of Deer Meadow Road from Concord Drive to Cedar Mill Group. These funds to come from the Highway and Road Construction Capital Reserve Fund.
I second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I move to request the trustees of trust funds issue a check in the amount of $260.95 to Core and Main for invoice R395305 for compound used for catch basins on Deer Meadow Road. These funds to come from the Highway and Road Construction Capital Reserve Fund.
I second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We've moved to request the trustees of trust funds issue a check in the amount of $5,116 to Bosco and Sand and Gravel for invoices P2-1004486, P2-1004481, and P2-1004450. These funds to come from the Road Preservation Expendable Trust.
I second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I've gotten way too good at reading numbers.
I know,
fast.
you're very good.
Thank you. This is for authorization to pay MasterCard.
Yes.
My bill is very high, I have that welfare case in there.
Welfare on a credit card?
Oh, I had to pay for a hotel.
Ah,
Speaking of welfare, I mean, I've had 2 cases that have been horrendous. However, I got rid of one, I haven't been sued yet, but I'm standing by. And then the other one, I've gotten CAP is taken over their problem,
Okay,
so.
okay.
so are we normally paying TDS with?
We're paying
credit cards
TDS
now?
on credit card because we can't turn it around fast enough.
Okay. That makes sense then.
And that's what Michelle's is basically to the police department. And then I have the treasurer sign off on it, and she sits with me while I charge it, so it works out pretty good, so we don't pay.
Nice.
Thank you, that's all I have. I do have some documents to sign. Oh, Brenda has given me, she encumbered money for the new flagpole at the park, and now she wants to buy it, and it's
Perfect.
$33.25. Here's the bill.
You never think of a flagpole being
Oh,
expensive,
terrible,
but they're,
isn't
yeah,
it?
they're not cheap. It's important.
Oh, comes with a solar powered light.
We thought you'd like that.
Yeah.
I like that we won't have to pay for electricity.
I know. It was cute. No, there's a lot of cool, full of power stuff now.
Oh.
So you can,
As long as it's bright enough, it's good. And lasts all night in the winter.
yeah, right.
Thank you. Here is the payroll that you've already paid us for, thank you.
Right, are they looking the same over there, huh? Anybody give themselves a raise?
We don't get paid enough for this job.
No.
Don't be looking at the figures.
Do we even make it on the page?
You're on there.
Yeah.
Or you should be. This is the manifest. And the school is in there, 301,000. And then there is also for the cemetery, they ground some stumps for $1,061.
Oh, we get to pay health trust too. Yay.
Oh yeah, the health insurance.
Yeah, but you're still the only one that I heard that the health insurance went down.
What's that?
Oh, it's not now.
Oh, no? No, I thought
It
you
did
got a
last
better
year.
deal, oh.
Yeah, it did last year, but. Although I don't have the figures for next year yet.
No,
And they said that they did not have anything to get back to us like they normally do.
there's no
So
return
it'll be-
money.
It'll be higher next year.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
They're just getting you ready.
Yeah, right.
Oh, the generator was taken care of.
Yes.
So everything's good here now?
Yep.
What's purchase power?
That is postage.
Ah, okay, thank you. Alright. All looks good to me.
That's all I have.
Alright. Anything else?
Oh, it was almost magical.
We made it through and it is still before 9,
Awesome.
even with plenty of public comment, of which there's none left. So with no more further public comment, I would move that we close the meeting at 8:47.
I second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And I'll go stop the recording.
Oh, I was.
Sometimes you